Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Super Mario 64. I believe this is episode 7, more or less. So this is actually the second voiceover I've had to do for this. So originally my game audio was the only audio that was captured. My voice didn't capture at all, and so I had to make a voiceover, and then I didn't know I could change the decibel, add a subtraction on Audacity, because that's how I'm making these voiceovers, is Audacity, and then I'm using a shortcut to add it on there. And while I was dinking around trying to figure out how shortcut worked, I accidentally double saved over my original voiceover file, so it just became loud, staticky, screeching. So this is my second voiceover of this, so that should be a fun time. Hopefully this one doesn't get messed up too. But I'm not going to talk about what I talked about in the first one, so you'll never know what that is, but I want to talk about different things this time. It's just the interesting things that have happened to me this weekend, so I just want to let y'all in on the fun little life of Shadow Herald Sean, whatever you want to call me. So this weekend has pretty much super sucked. I guess the best way to describe it is the very first kind of crappy thing that happened was that I got into my first accident on Saturday, I think. It's so much has gone on over the weekend. Yeah, it was Saturday. So Saturday I went to one of the local markets to get some pimento cheese that my mom loves with her. We got some other stuff too. But as I was backing out of the parking lot, there was this pole, this giant wooden pole in my blind spot. And I put a serious dent and shattered the driver's side tail light of her 2015 Chevy Equinox. So, a fairly new vehicle. So the parts are super expensive. I paid to get a new one. They haven't ordered it yet because a cousin of mine might be able to get it cheaper. But it's going to be at least now $70. Well, at the most, it's going to be $73. If we can get it cheaper, then that'd be great. But it's looking like the most for a single driver's side tail light is going to be $73. And then my dad took some hot water, some very hot water, and pretty much pounded the dent out of the plastic back bumper. So that was a good thing. That we're getting it sorted out really quickly, and it doesn't look too bad. So we just got to buy some paint. But after that happened, it was pretty early on in the day. I immediately went to the ATM with my mom to pull money out. So regardless of how much it was, I could just pay for it right then and there whenever we found out how much it was gonna be. Oh, my dryer's done, looks like. Sorry. So then I guess it wasn't really. I guess I'll just describe my weekend since I've got 20 minutes to talk about stuff. Oh, that sucked. Because I'm watching the video, so I also know when to stop. So then after all that happened, we tried to go to there's an Amish farm that's 10 minutes from my house, because my mom wanted a peach pie, an apple pie, and 2 loaves of bread. Well, as it turns out, they've been so busy selling their vegetables and stuff, she hasn't had any time really to make pies and bread, and what little she did make always went to waste because everybody was more interested in their vegetables. So she only makes them to order now. So my mom had to place an order for next Saturday, and I can't go with her next Saturday because I'm going to be at training for my work, getting trained on how to use a work assistance vehicle and a fork truck. So that was kind of a bummer that she didn't get the pies that she wanted or anything. But then after that, I went and saw Dragon Cry, the movie, the fairy tale movie that was playing in some theaters, and we saw the last showing at one of the near local theaters, and then we went out to eat dinner with my buddy Tim. So that was a fun time, at least. But what was funny about that is we went out to eat at this place called Flat Top, and it's like a build your own restaurant. So like they've got all these, like you choose your protein choices, and you can choose to have them in like tacos or burritos or something, however you really want to do it. And excuse me, sorry. You add in like your own vegetables and stuff. It's like a buffet line that you put vegetables and stuff in this bowl, and you leave it up at the counter, and like the cooks make it and stuff. It's really cool. It's one of my favorite places to eat. And so I got done first, and I was waiting for my friends to get back at the table, and the lady brought back our drinks, and just out of nowhere, I kind of caught her staring at me, and the next thing I know, there was a cup of water on the little plate thing in her hand, and it just went all over the table. I'm like, oh snap. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just really glad that didn't get on you. I'm like, yeah, that was some really cold ice water. I'd hate for that to get on me. I'd be kind of upset. And then later on in the night when we actually get our food, my buddy grabs his plate of food and proceeds to accordingly knock over his water in the almost exact same spot where the waitress accidentally spilt her water. So it was just kind of funny to to see that, like, right in the same spot that water spilled. I felt so bad for the dude that had to clean it up, because it was the same dude that cleaned it up twice, and he was really cool about it. But I was like, man, hopefully it doesn't happen a third time. I don't want to be the one to spill anything. So that happened, and then I get back home after I'm done hanging out with my friends. And I just recently turned 21 on August 11th. And that earlier on in the day, I had bought some alcohol, because I'm very curious to the world of alcohol, I guess, to what I do and don't like. So I made myself a mixed drink of my own concoction, which was like a full can of Mountain Dew and a pretty decent sized shot of UV Blue, which is like a blue raspberry vodka. That was pretty good. And then I also made myself a normal shot of something called a caramel apple shot. So the two of the things I bought were like a butter shot from De Kuiper. I don't really know how to say it. If anyone happens to know in the comments, let me know, because I have no idea how to say it, so I'm going to keep calling it De Kuiper. But they make butter shots, and they also make a sour apple pucker. And on the back of the butter shots bottle, it had a recipe, I guess if you want to call it that, for I remember that almost falling off that mountain. I was about to be super pissed. Was a caramel apple shot, and that was just like one part of the butterscotch flavored alcohol and the the sour apple pucker. God, I couldn't think of it to save my life. And it was pretty good, but immediately after I took the shot and went downstairs, I noticed a couple of things flying by my head. I'm like, oh, is there like a moth down here? I turn around and I see like a bat, like a literal bat. Like I wasn't hallucinating, like it wasn't some kind of crazy alcohol trip I did or didn't have. It's the alcohol's not that strong, and I have a pretty high tolerance, because I was trying to record earlier today with Randall, and that didn't work out. We were drinking, and I really was kind of feeling loosened up at the best. But anyways, so I was freaking out, because I had just taken alcohol, and I'm still not used to it, because I hadn't touched alcohol until I turned 21 last Friday. And so I was like, oh man, what do I do? And they were pretty big bats, and I was freaking out because they kept flying at my face, because they're blind as a bat. So they're freaking out, I'm freaking out. I'm loosened up, and I'm more talkative to myself, and it was just a bad time. So I got the one out, and I was like, I hope that was it. And then next thing I know, boom, there's a second bat, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm not Batman. So I got the second one out, and I was pretty sure there was only two. I was pretty spot on in my head, thinking there were only two of them. So I'm writing down on sticky notes to my parents, like, hey, I came home to a couple of bats in the house. I got rid of them despite just taking a shot of alcohol. There were only 2 of them, and then as I'm being very quiet, I just hear some like really, really faint squeaking, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look downstairs, and I just see a flash of black go across the entrance to the basement, and I'm like, oh, come on. And that duder, that little bat was stuck in the basement for the longest time. And the only way I got them out, like, I didn't do anything special because we don't have any fishing nets at the house, because my dad has them off at his, like, because he owns, like, a little pontoon with his brother, and he keeps all his fishing nets and stuff with the boat. I just kind of had to use my squeaky garage door, the door in my kitchen that leads to the garage, to hopefully trick him into thinking it's like an insect or maybe another bat. I don't know. You know, because they use sonar, so like, oh, maybe like a high-pitched squeak would get their attention if nothing else. And I just kept opening and closing it really quickly to try to get their attention, and it worked all 3 times. I was super proud, but I was, obviously freaking out, and I was super angst up. At the end of it, it was not a good time. So that was very interesting, to say the least, on that front, especially because I just, I took a couple sips of that UV Blue and Mountain Dew, and then I had that, entire quick little shot, because I was just trying to relax, because I had a pretty stressful day with, and I love my friends, I really do, but I had a headache most of the day, and I had a really upset stomach from going to like a sandwich shop earlier, so I just really wasn't feeling it for the longest time, and so I just wanted to relax, because I was pretty tensed up most of the day because of my headache and whatnot and my upset stomach. So I just wanted to relax, and my mom asked me, so did you try that caramel apple shot? After she gave me some shit about the bats, and I'm just like, well, I left a sour taste in my mouth, because as soon as I took it, I found 3 bats in the house, So that was an interesting time. And then today, oh my god, so I'm technically recording this Monday morning at 1:30, because I work from 4 to midnight, so I'm always up at this time, so don't be like, oh, you need to get your fish on. But Sunday night, oh my god, I was recording an episode of Head to Head with Randall, like I said earlier, and we were drinking, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun with it. Most of our head-to-head videos are like, we try to keep around 30 minutes. At like the 22-minute mark or so, my power goes out, and I'm like, oh, you're kidding me, because Randall's been giving me shit about not being able to record all day because my mom wanted to go out to lunch today, and I had to mow my front and back lawn because my dad helped take care of my mom's truck, and he hurt his back. That's another shitty thing that happened. So I go upstairs because mom's like, I think our breaker, flipped off or something. She's like, you gotta take care of it because I don't know how. And I'm like, alright, whatever. I get into the kitchen because she's making dinner. It's like right at 5 p.m. And I look out in my backyard and I see this low-hanging wire. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, Mom, I think I know what our power problem is. She's like, what? And she kept looking like at the edge of the windowsill. And I'm like, there. She's like, where? I'm like, there. And she still didn't get it. So I literally took my hands and moved her head to look out the window. And she thought I was going to say, I found a bat or something. So she was freaking out. That's why she probably wasn't looking outside. She was like afraid. But no. So as it turns out, the power line in my backyard has been rubbing up against this pine tree. Is it it's an evergreen. And it's been rubbing against it for so long that it made the connection loose. Like the electrical line was loose. And so that heated up the lines and it melted through all of it. And so it just completely ripped out of the power box because it had pretty much next to nothing holding it in there anymore. And keep in mind, like I said, that was at 5 o'clock. And it didn't come back on until like 11:30 at night. So, 6.5 hours later. So that was the final thing that recently just happened. That was crazy. So that was a fun time, And I guess It was fun though, only because my mom was making a dinner I'm not too awfully fond of. It's one of my dad's favorites. It's just like a tomato-y, cheesy pasta dish called Johnny Marzetti. I don't know where that comes from, or if that's a name my parents made up. But whatever. So we ordered Mancino's instead, which is like a pizza place that also has like grinders and stuff. So that part was cool. And then just when I'm trying to take a nap, because my phone's dying, so I know if I take a nap, at least I won't be on my phone, and my phone won't die in case the power doesn't come back on. Mom's like, hey, you should come downstairs and play your ukulele, because I bought a 21 Pilots ukulele a while ago. I think I've had it for almost over a year now, if not definitely over a year. I'll have to look into it when I posted the photo, because I posted a picture of it like the day I got it to Facebook and stuff. And so I got to pretty much just practice and wail on my ukulele for almost 2 straight hours. And then it started getting dark, and I keep extras of everything, so I had like my 3 Zelda candles, I have a maple waffle candle, I've got like 2 campfire smelling candles, and a couple other ones that I don't even know what they are. I never actually use them, I just have them just in case. I have a couple of the bigger ones that are in like these giant looking mason jars in case like we have a problem where we're out of power. But like a dude didn't even come out until like 8:30 and said, "Oh yeah, they should be here by 9." And they didn't even show up until what was it? 10:45ish, maybe a little bit after that. And they got done right at 11:28, so they had to like trim the tree and they were originally going to splice a line in, but they just completely took out our old line and put in a new one, which I was thankful for, because why splice in a new one if the first one was already pretty bad? Because it was rotted because of the heat in so many places. It wasn't even funny. There was so much, like the dude that came out, because they had to have 2 crews come out. The first guy that came out was there to assess the damages and like to inform the second crew what they had to do. And it was just annoying, because we were right there at the end of recording an episode of Head to Head, and I set aside a whole bunch, like my entire afternoon was like, not afternoon, my entire evening was set aside for recording with Randall. And it was fun for what we did. It was a good time. It was really competitive, which I really enjoyed. But that kind of got all ruined. And my computer's been down recently, so I haven't been able to record normal videos up until recently. This was our first time recording Head to Head in a long ass time, so I felt kind of shitty that I finally had some free time to do it, and that kind of got messed up. But you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. And I guess I'm just thankful that my power is now back on. My mom's vehicle, her SUV, doesn't look horrible. My only problem now is that my dad's back is pretty messed up. Like, I don't know, he doesn't know what he did to it. He hasn't been lifting anything crazy. He was fishing on Saturday, and he turned, and it just kind of went out on him, and he's been hurting ever since. And I'm hoping he goes to the doctor, but if he's anything like me, which, he's my dad, he's super duper stubborn. So that's never a good thing. But yeah, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I guess there were more good things than bad things. I also found out because I had prepared a shot, because Randall doesn't have any shots really to take. He's just got like straight alcohol, like Malibu, pineapple rum, and like one other thing I thought. Maybe not. Whatever. I had a caramel apple shot that I modified. Instead of doing like one part and one part, it was like 2/3 of the butterscotch and 1/3 of the sour apple, because I liked it. It was sweeter that way, and it tasted more like a caramel apple to me, because whenever I've had a caramel apple, at least the caramel's always been stronger than anything else. Like, I mean, the apple is pretty strong too, but if you're taking that first bite, into a caramel apple, it's mostly caramel with a hint of apple, which is my favorite part. So, you know, fun shot tips with Shadow Harold, the 21-year-old who's been 21 for only not a long time, a week and 2 days. But I guess I'm at the end of the video now, so I somehow managed to ramble through it all. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video and you're watching this right now, I really do appreciate it, especially because I've been extra rambly and not even talking about the game at all. If you could do me a huge favor and go check out Randall's channel and Head to Head, our collaboration channel. We should be uploading to that soon once we get some time to collaborate and actually do stuff together. And I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles.